This is Kung Pao Enter the Minute, minute 24. Opening frame. Master Payne still telling himself off after that brutal onslaught. We quickly cut to an above the table shot. Master Payne has put his robe back on and is sitting to the screen left of the mayor. Everyone is quiet until the mayor makes an announcement that Master Payne heard rumours that the Chosen One has been spotted around town. And then warning his audience that they better
do what he says or he'll cut off your big toe. On that you can trust me.
The mayor leads a silent audience in a round of applause before we cut to the mayor's foot and a suspicious amount of blood oozing from the front of his shoe.
Oh, that's tender. That is tender.
We cut to a disguise of the Chosen One glaring at Master Payne with barely hidden contempt. Master Payne seeming oblivious to the scorn shown towards him even when it cuts close to the Chosen One's face. This cues a short flashback sequence with the Chosen One as he recalls that fateful night. Images flashing before his eyes of their encounter, including the moment he pees on the dude's rug. That's it. Wrong. Different movie. No, it's not a wrong movie, it's just a different movie. It's a great movie, in fact.
He peed on the dude's rug.
Anyway, the applause dies down as Master Payne stands up and addresses all those gathered before him, somewhat incoherently.
I have been called bad before. Many have said I do things that are not correct to do. I don't believe in such talk as this. I am nice man with happy feelings all of the time.
As we enter the final frame, we get, most of the first part of Master Payne's comedy stylings.
What do you get when you cross an owl with a
So I'm joined once again by my good friend Jon Goon.
Hello.
Famous cosplayer. I'm just going to keep saying that because it sounds so good.
No.
Here's the funny thing. Just as I was saying that as a joke, you've moved to very much this. I'm trying to think of the term you probably use, like an uncle when it comes to things like cosplay. You take on a tutor role. I think I'm starting to reach that point as well. I was doing some cosplay repairs last year, back when the world wasn't shit, all these shitter, and there was conventions. And this one, I'm not sure if she was one of the cosplay ambassadors or international guest or something. And I fixed her costume, and she just kept calling me senpai.
Was this during Nova? Because I was there.
That was at Supernova.
Because I was hanging out at the booth most of the time, anyways.
Yeah, it was later on the day when you weren't there. So yeah, also doing Madman cosplay repair booth stuff. And part of me just I'm really happy to be moving into this more senior role and let all the other people have all the pain and anguish of making a costume the night beforehand.
Oh yes, I mean at this point I basically just make meme costumes, like my literally the most recent costume I've done is me and the boys.
Yes!
Which are the shitty Green Goblin, shitty Electro.
Well, it was from the 1966 Spider-Man the Animated Series,
Yep.
if I believe correctly. Was it Comic Fiesta?
That was Annie Mangaki.
Did CF get cancelled last year or not? I can't remember.
No. CF still ran. But CF last year, what I did was...
Or did you go with your boombox?
Boombox, yes. So I basically set up, I picked a spot on the massive outdoor walkway area, and that became the cosplayer's retirement home. So all the older cosplayers who don't really cosplay much anymore, they congregated in my area and just chilled there. We just drank drinks, chatted away, and I had an umbrella and a parasol, everything set up, deck chairs. And then welcome to the cosplayer's retirement home. Enjoy your stay.
I'm gonna have to join you next CF for that.
Yep. And the funny thing is, we were playing really old school, early 2000s meme songs, tracks like that. The newer generation, what is that song? I've never heard it before. And we were all it makes me feel even older.
Thing is, I'm older than you, and
No
I've
shit.
been feeling the age for quite a while, you youngsters. Bringing up the boombox, so which costume would you prefer to cosplay from Kung Pao? Master Payne / the evil Betty, or the dude with the boombox who plays Black Betty and who lets the dogs out?
With the amount of hair, but I don't have any hair left. It's I would do the boombox guy. I would love to do boombox guy because that's literally me. But I
Yeah.
would always have a soft spot for Betty.
Well, the good thing is, if you're losing your hair on top, you just need a like little half wiglet for
Yeah, how
the
we.
evil Betty, because he has that ridiculous. Again, that's something from the original movie. I'm not sure if that's an historic thing or not.
No, it's just a really bad wig decision.
Yeah, because the original movie was set in the Second Sino-Japanese War,
Yep.
so it's like 1930s or something like that.
Mhm.
I'm no scholar, especially on history, and especially on history in a country I've never been to. So it bewilders me what was going on with Betty.
Honestly, no. Honestly, nobody knows what's going on with Betty because it's Betty.
He doesn't announce himself as Betty until next
Next
minute.
minute, yeah.
Yeah, but this is the one where you better do as evil as Master Payne says, or he'll cut off your toes.
Yep, that's the one.
This is the toe minute.
Oh, it's tender.
It's just like blood gushing out. It's like, dude, why aren't you not screaming? And also, why has no one bandaged this? It's just me. It's just Master Payne just being an absolute evil prick.
It's okay. I am funny guy with happy thoughts.
Yeah. Some say I do bad things. Apparently, they just had this whole bunch of dialogue they just needed to fill, and just Odekirk just was like, I'm just filling it with weird shit. It's actually, I think in hindsight, probably one of the least tightly edited part of the film when it comes to Betty. Is just rambling.
Yep.
But at the same time, I think it just says so much about the character. You just transfix it. Just, what is going on here? And of course, there's the chosen one in the best disguise ever,
The Fez.
the Fez.
The Fez, and he's having his war flashbacks. Like, and Betty's like, what the hell?
Someone who doesn't have a background or didn't have a background culturally on this whole idea of like recutting things for comedic effect or to change the thing. When the first 5-6 minutes of this movie, which is completely all new, was it jarring when had all this time with this new footage and also went to old footage? Was that one of those things when you watch it, you just there going, what the fuck just happened? Or were you kind of just sold right from the beginning?
I was sold right from the beginning because
Okay, that's cool.
I'm so used to Monty Python stuff growing up with that. So it's
of course.
yeah, so it's like, oh, it's funny, and then suddenly like, oh, old school shit.
Yeah, I was actually going to bring up Python in the previous minute, but I would love to talk about it now because comedy is such a interesting cultural thing to touch upon. Like, I think one great thing with Python, because it was kind of always kind of weird.
Yep.
Like, as long as you can kind of get the weirdness, you don't necessarily need to know about some of the obscure references that might turn up. Python also has a great deal of visual comedy as well.
Oh yeah.
I was just watching a podcast and they're talking about the killer cars segment, these paper cutout cars eating people and all sorts of weird shit like that. I didn't grow up with Python. I watched Python when I was a teenager. The VHS had just kind of been re-released. The story I heard is that originally someone thought that the BBC, I think it was BBC Two who originally shown it, had erased the tapes, and yet they got found. And they got cleaned up enough to be released onto VHS. And I can barely tell you what the first ever episode of Monty Python I've ever seen, because it was just such a fucking mind trip.
I think for me it was Holy Grail on really shitty pirated VCD. And then that got me hooked, and then I was like, oh my god, I gotta watch more Monty Python. And like I ransacked the local pirated VCD store for the Monty Python collection, so they had like shitty VCD.
So that's an interesting thing to say that there's actually a VCD store, because those things never took off over here. They tried to a little bit, but they never took off. I've still got a couple of VCDs. Now, when I think about it, there are probably a couple of Godfrey Ho movies, like what Ninja the Mission Force was, where they basically took a Hong Kong action film and shot in badly dubbed American actors and stuff like that. But wow, that's really cool. I mean, that also, shows both our ages, like, because VCDs were a big thing, around about, gotta be like late 90s?
VCDs were early 2000s, so like
Yeah.
99, 2000, 2001. So
Yeah.
that was when VCD stores really exploded everywhere because you could pirate it so easily. And like, the whole burner thing,
Yeah.
Nero burning ROM.
Yeah, I haven't used that in a while.
So everyone could get your hands on the VCD. But before that, all of us basically just recorded everything in VHS, or we went to like a video store and bought our VHS from there. So like,
Yeah.
it's like the whole, and that's when I really got into movies and stuff like that.
I've got boxes, and I mean big boxes full of old VHS X rentals that I've bought over the years, and basically I've kept them for decades now. The only ones I'm keeping are the rare things, like these are the kind of B grade movies, the shit you'll never get on DVD.
Oh yeah.
I've still got some of my kung fu martial arts type movies, like Martial Law with Cynthia Rothrock, and Armor of God. I found a couple of my Jackie Chans. But everything else is like mainstream Hollywood that you can easily get on DVD. Yeah, binned. Or movies I'm like, I kind of like this, but I don't particularly want a copy of this anymore.
Into the bin you go.
Yeah, I kind of need to do the same with my DVD collection, because now my DVD collection is kind of out of hand. I've got literal piles of them on the floor that need to be sorted and culled.
I think I've literally binned 80% of my DVD collection.
Damn.
80% of my DVD collections, and I've like watched my VCD so much that they can't be watched anymore. They're so scratched up and banged up, so I'm like, bin.
Yeah.
VHS tapes, I still have like the stuff that I used to watch, because I have like it's like back then when we got VHS tapes, like for kids cartoons, we got compilations. So it's an entire VHS of like one episode from different shows of like tons of different shows, but it's just one episode. So it's like, that's what I used to watch all the time. It's like, yes, I'm gonna rewatch this entire tape of one episode of Fireman Sam, one episode of Postman Pat, one episode of Noddy, one episode of Round the Twist, and then like one episode of Paddington, one episode of so it's like it's all just crammed into this one tape. So it's like,
I've kept all my pre-recorded stuff, because I really would love to go through. I must admit, part of me wants to go through and find like old like adverts and stuff like that, like the really obscure shit.
Because if you put those up on YouTube, you could be hitting a gold mine.
I don't think I'll be hitting a gold mine, but
I mean, people do search for the most obscure shit every now and then.
Yeah, I love the idea of archiving the weird and wonderful oddities of that type of stuff. Like, the ones that come to mind immediately, being growing up in WA, is WA Salvage. Those adverts are fucking insane and gorgeous and lovely. With the character of Luigi and his catchphrases. I believe WA Salvage was gone well before they basically got bought out by Bunnings.
Because when I came in, it was still Bunnings, and then when I left, like what was coming in? Masters was coming in.
Yeah, they've gone now. They went bankrupt.
Masters is gone. They were in for like they were coming in when I was leaving, and then now they're gone.
They went under end of 2017-ish, something like that. 2018. I didn't realize you didn't know.
I know Dick Smith disappeared when I was there.
Oh, they've gone. They went purely online, in pretty much in name only. They're pretty much Kogan. It's just a different storefront for Kogan. Although whenever I see Kogan, I always think Krogan. I'm just thinking,
yeah, Krogan.
I'd love to have like an electronics vendor that's just that aggressive and loud and brutal. Maybe not. That's capitalism does that enough, but.
Well, Mass Effect Trilogy is coming out in remastered.
Yeah, I have to buy another version of Mass Effect Trilogy because I'm that much of a sucker.
Well, one thing I'm not gonna touch again is Mass Effect Andromeda.
Oh god. No,
Trash.
we do not talk about Mass Effect Andromeda. I do not have a copy that's staring me in the face off in a corner there. That's in the Hall of Shame because god
Please burn
damn it.
Please burn it.
I had to buy. I bought an X rental because of course I don't buy trash like that for full price. I got to like one of the first big battle scenes on the planet, and I was just like, I'm over this. I
Yep.
was just so over this.
I forced myself to finish it. Yep.
Oh, you poor soul. See, I'm a defender of Mass Effect 3, and I couldn't stand Andromeda. I'm one of those people that when I first played Mass Effect 3, I 100%ed it first run. So when I got to the ending, I had the best ending because I'd 100%ed everything. I got all my good girl points being the Paragon of Paragons. And
Meanwhile, I went full renegade.
yeah, I tried to go Renegade. It just doesn't suit me as a personality. I think the problem is I went Renegade with the guy, and I was just like, man, this guy's a dick. Just give me back to FemShep. Because Jennifer Hale is amazing, and everyone should play FemShep because she is the best. Top tip for everyone playing. How old is Mass Effect now? It's got to be close to at least a decade.
6 years, 7 years old.
Yeah, Mass Effect 1. It's got to be close to.
No, yeah, Mass Effect 1 is 2007.
Is it 7? Wow.
2000?
Yeah, because Mass Effect 2 was about first time I got my computer. Wow. And by the way, I don't mind these rambling tangents because that's just how I like to podcast. I'll try and steer us back into it, but realistically speaking,
We've gone off the rails. We've jumped the shark.
I just recorded an episode of 60 Seconds to Comply with Connor, and we tangented so hard it was hard to get back on track. And I'm probably not going to cut a single sentence out of it because it was really funny and kind of amazing. Oh yes, we get the first part of Betty's joke, which is the "What do you get when?" Then that's where it cuts off.
We get an owl.
What do you get when you cross an owl with a bungee cord?
My ass.
It makes me laugh every single time, and I don't know why. It's so dumb.
And like chosen one's face is like
I think we'll wrap this up here because I think we all want to talk about Betty more when we get to actually the reveal. So, thanks again for joining us. I didn't say this the last time. Where would you like people to go and check out your work? Do you have like the Instagrams, the Facebooks, or the Tinders, or the plumbers, or whatever they call them now?
my Instagram is full of my cat. My Facebook is full of my cat.
Yeah. Cat. Do you have a Twitter for your cat? Because
No.
cat Twitter's amazing. I mean, regular Twitter's a steaming hell dump, but cat Twitter specifically is amazing and full of the good dispoised.
Well, yeah, I don't really have a place of where I store my junk now. So
Just look for Jon Goon anywhere. I'm sure I'll find a link to pop now because I want to pimp your stuff and anything you're doing. And hopefully the theme park will be open again soon. Because I'm guessing everything's still unlocked. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Malaysia gone into a second lockdown?
Yep, second lockdown.
Oh, that sucks.
I mean, we can still travel, but not interstate. And I mean, like shops are still open and stuff. It's not like super. It's not like the first lockdown where that was like super hardcore. It's like semi lockdown, which it still sucks because people still are wandering around with the virus and shit like that. Like, sucks.
Yeah. The theme park has been what? At least by now, like 5 years in the making.
Yep, since 2015.
They were talking about it in 2015, and it was only starting to be built, 2017?
Yep.
It feels like a lifetime ago, but that's 2020 for you.
2020, the wasted year.
Yeah, we deserve a do-over, except can we keep the result of the US presidential election? Just let's keep that one in stone and just change the rest of it.
We just gotta wait for 2022 Electric Boogaloo, but then yeah.
Oh, by that time this podcast will be over, and I got to figure out another thing to do to keep to while away the hours. So, any suggestions on stupid films you want to hear me talk about?
Super Cop.
Super Cop. Okay, well, we'll stick around for one more minute, and then we'll start talking about the man they call Betty. So I'll see you in a bit. Again, thank you very much, John. We have one more minute with John coming up. For you, it will be next week. For me, it will be 5 minutes from now when I'm editing the next episode. But time shenanigans aside, let's talk about the audio commentary. So, for starters, we have Stephen Paul talking about their concerns with the voice performances. I was talking about in previous minutes, Steve Edico did a lot of these voices, so they were a bit worried that some of them were running into each other. And so this is them talking about that.
So the mayor, who I did the mayor's voice, and we felt it was crossing into Wimplo a lot, and then we
Kinda
finally
Wimplow's
went,
second cousin.
whatever. You know.
Michael Hilkeny was concerned about that, and like at the end of the day, they all kind of sound similar.
We also get a little bit of insight into how this movie was scripted and recorded.
The majority of the dubbing took place at an Avid desk during the writing of the script.
And we always thought it would be like scratch and we'd replace it later.
So let's dig into what are they really saying. And as a first for this particular podcast, we're not going to focus on dialogue. Mostly because this is all in the original Mandarin, and even though the Chosen One appears, he has 0 lines. So, yeah. However, what's interesting in this from an editing point of view, and a sound mixing point of view, you can actually hear in the cut, audibly you can hear in the cut where they extended the applause out. It's just slightly different. Look, you'll listen to it. I'll cut it in now. Finally, we have the audiobook, and just like Wimplo before him, Master Payne, oh god, it's so hard to try and figure out what dialogue is all the time to do with the audiobook, because it's all kind of gold. However, I ultimately went with this.
I am a nice man with happy feelings all of the time.
And that is it for this week. I once again want to thank my good friend Jon Goon for guesting on this and the previous episode and the next episode. Yes, you got a free for ride here, folks. Please go check out the audio version of this if you haven't already done so on Simplecast, Apple, Google, and Spotify. If you don't follow the video version of this, it's on YouTube. Just Google the YouTubes or just check out these show notes. They should be posted somewhere around there. Otherwise, just search for Kung Pao into the Minute or Fanboy Crossing. That should get you somewhere. If not, just message me. Don't message me. I mean, you can. I mean, nobody will. But, you know, I'm not that hard to get a hold of. Actually, I'm kind of hard to get a hold of. Either way, please be careful. We're coming to the end of this hell year of 2020. For those of you who have survived the 15th apocalypse so far, this very early decade, and want to have a document of, you know, what some entertainment was like during everything, go check out Patreon, go check out Ko-Fi. You know, judging by the amount of money I received from both of these sources, nobody has so far, but I'm just going to keep plugging away. Maybe I might get a coffee one day, you know. My children need wine! That's not important. The important thing is to take care of yourselves and keep well. Chrissy's coming up. Hopefully Big Red gives you something really awesome. But until then, keep safe, and I'll see you next time.